Welcome back to Hot Topics right here at Contemporary Black Voices. And today we have a hot one because this person is pretty hot in the way he's winning and kicking butt across the country. And that is the question is America ready for prime? I'm going to go to Chris first because he's a strong prime supporter.
No, I don't think America is ready for Prime, but they might as well get ready because, like what Prime said, he is here. It's not he's coming; he's already here, and he's kicking. You know what? And taking names. I think tonight you will see Colorado versus Colorado State, and I think he will again win. The one thing that I do want to say is that Travis Hunter, especially this kid that he
both ways.
Yeah, that plays both ways. Right now, with just having played 2 games, he is my choice for a Heisman Trophy winner because you have not had anybody like him since you had Desmond Howard at Michigan.
Okay. I don't know. You know, this guy's won 2 games against, to me, mediocre. I know you're going to say TCU made the playoffs last year, but they got slaughtered. I mean, that wasn't even.
But they were I think they were, 14 or something, and they weren't even.
They got slaughtered last year.
But this year they were rated number 14 when Colorado played them. They were rated at number 14, and Colorado was not rated at all.
But have you ever considered maybe they shouldn't have been rated number 14?
We don't think they should have been probably number 2 last year. But
I felt that way last year, and
right.
I think it proved that he shouldn't have been number 2. They got clobbered in the championship game. But this guy's won 2 games against mediocre teams, and man, people are talking like, you know, sky's the limit for this guy. He's almost walking on water all of a sudden.
Well, they won 100% more.
Let me say something about that, okay? The real question is the country ready for any prime? And in the case of Deion Sanders, is college football ready for any black head coach, especially in the non-HBU settings? Black coaches have not shown us that they can't do the job. What we have seen is black coaches have a hard time getting those head coach positions. And so if you look at some of the statements that are being made by, I can't think of who this coach's name, Deion wears sunglasses, he wears a hat when he does interviews, and one white coach says, I know his mama raised him better than that. So that language alone really put Deion from a man to a child's position. So a lot of white coaches are not prepared to have a black head coach working with them. And Deion Sanders, no matter what all we may say and think, this man is a competitor. He has played competitively, professionally, and he probably has that innate capability of pulling off what he needs to pull off.
Well, my only thing is, let him play a little more competitive team before we make him the greatest coach that ever walked.
Fred don't like him because he got too much swag.
I didn't like him. I didn't like him when he played for the Cowboys because I don't like the Cowboys. And I loved it when Jerry Rice ate him up in that playoff game. In that playoff game, he just ate him up. So it's who he played for. I go to Caleb. He's also, Caleb jumped on me. We have our pre-broadcast meetings, Zoom meetings on Thursdays. And I was saying this, and just Caleb, my brother, my close brother, man. I mean, it takes a Sanders to come between me and my brother. This guy got some power. He's affecting people.
It was, the question was about supporting, and I just gave a simple answer. Yeah, I support him because he's black. That's good enough for me. That's good enough. So I support Sanders 100%. I love what he's doing, and he has my support. I wish him well. I wish him the best. And again, just to touch on a little bit about what Dr. Chadwell was saying, is America ready? And so putting it into that context, it just reminded me of what some of the Texas Alabama game, and so what some of the crowd was saying to the Texas players, and so
Yeah.
when
What
we
were they
asked-
saying?
yeah.
Tell the audience what they were saying.
No, they were telling them to go back to the ghetto, and they were saying
back to
it was
your apartment.
it was all kinds of racist chants and stuff, and so so is America ready for and you know or for black athletes, black coaches, black excellence in that space, and so that's the question, and so I guess we can
Let me digress for a minute.
sure go ahead.
I remember when Patrick Ewing was playing for Georgetown,
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing Duke or what, North Carolina, and the students had signs up that says, "Patrick can't read this."
Wow.
You know what John Thompson did? He pulled his team off the floor and told them, "Get those signs out of there, or we will not play." And that's probably one of the reasons they don't want black coaches, because you have black coaches like John Thompson who are really black.
Well,
You know what I
John-
mean by that?
John Thompson also told his team not to accept any deals before they graduated from college. So he even though he was a basketball coach, he also was wanted his boys to be prepared education wise in the event something happened to them sports wise.
Except for one. I agree with you, except for one. And that was, what's his name? Played for Philadelphia. He went to Georgetown.
Oh, Allen Iverson?
Allen Iverson. Yeah. John told him go on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the only one
Yeah.
he had to
There's
go on.
always one.
Yeah.
But
So-
you
Go ahead.
But you know, if we look at it from a larger perspective, is the country ready for prime? Again, I'm going to use that term prime to be representative of black excellence in any
Sure, you're right.
any domain, education, sports, business, medicine, whatever, right? And it seems to be that there are constant hurdles just because of your black excellence that you have to face when you start operating in these different domains. You know, I've been in the education field. I had to, it's kind of like every day was sometimes a struggle because it wasn't that I was wasn't a good teacher. It was always a black teacher. Why can't I be a teacher? Why does my race have to be attached to with the job that I do? You know, parents saw me as a black teacher, and there were some parents, especially foreign parents, who pulled their kids out of my classroom because I was a black teacher. My numbers spoke for themselves. My kids always did well, but they saw me as a black teacher. And I would say that even in the banking field, black bankers have to go through hoops just to show that they know what they know. You know, let's even talk about this latest deal that Byron Allen made, okay? Now, Byron has the money, but he is going to have to go through some changes to show that he has the ways and the means to support that type of deal. Tyler Perry had the money to buy BET, but they decided to pull the deal. And I want to say it's because they did not want to give this BET back to a black man. So these are all primes. And so we're going to, because we are all primes, we tend to have to go through more changes just to show that we can do the job assigned.
Let me ask.
Is that part of that old saying? I guess they still say it. We have to be twice as good.
No, we got to be 20 times.
Let me ask this question. I want to ask an A and B question. Is what Deion Sanders has done, has it been good for America, and has it been good for black people? Fred.
Negative on both.
Negative. Why would you say
It's
negative?
good for Deion Sanders. Come on. It's good for Deion Sanders. He moved from probably at Jackson Stadium making probably $100,000 to $1 million. You know, I don't see how that's affected psychologically. And we do too many things on psychological things. We loved Obama. Oh, black people just loved Obama when he go.
You don't?
Obama didn't do that much for black people.
Oh, wait a
Come on.
minute, wait a
He
minute,
did.
wait a minute.
He did.
We ain't gonna
That's
go
why-
there.
That's why Cornel West moved away, because he was, and I'm not saying he could. Don't get this wrong. I'm not saying he could, because he was president for the whole country,
Correct.
not just for black people.
Thank you.
But we thought all of a sudden, because this black man is president, the sky is going to open for us, and it didn't happen. It doesn't happen. We psychologically make these people gods when they do something. The perfect example I can give is Capitol Hill. Man, those guys in Congressional Black Caucus been there for 50 years. They don't even have any competition because they're almost ordained.
Right.
And so I'm talking about this not only from the Sanders perspective, and I know you. I'm between three people that used to be just you. Yeah, but what he did, he did for maybe 50 football players, a white university, and himself.
So you don't think there's any positive in that for black folks or for America?
More positive than the coach for Ohio State.
He's
Or
white. We ain't got another black coach. Show me a black coach.
No. It is still playing a game. Okay, it's a game. It's a game. It's after that game's over, it doesn't affect anything. It's like I remember somebody says, "Why do people get so upset who loses the Super Bowl?" It's just a game. Life is going to go on the next day like it did the day before. Black folks are going to struggle. We're going to have to deal with Trump. We're going to have to deal with the right wing that is growing stronger and stronger in this country. So show me where he's doing something to stop. Show something. You talk about it all the time. And you know where I'm going. We need leaders.
Yes.
Not leaders of a football team, but leaders who are best for the entire race. And that's not, a guy coaching a football team doesn't fit that bill to me.
I think it does. I think in America, especially with football, that is looked at almost like military. Football is.
What?
Yeah, I think football in America is almost looked like is compared to military. Like Woody Hayes when he was at Ohio State, they look and they read a lot of.
Does that make it good?
My point is this, is that when you have somebody like Deion Sanders and what he is doing, I think you have to begin to look. When he was at Jackson State, the guy at Colorado looked at that and said, we only won one game last year. We need to do better. If we can get this guy, and right now, Colorado's got to be ecstatic about what's happening with them. The price of the tickets are up. They got more people. They've got
That does nothing for black people. That does for Colorado. Give me a break. Now,
It does, because somebody wants to emulate that.
If he wanted to do something really for black people, he should have stayed at Jackson State, recruited some of the best black ball players in this country, and made a powerhouse at Jackson State.
But there would be no white college that would have played him.
That'd be good. That would show the strength.
No, it's not good.
I don't know if you remember the day. Maybe all you are too young. But I remember every Catholic would go to Notre Dame.
Right.
And Notre Dame had powerhouses.
Right.
They had
Right.
powerhouses. If every black would go to Jackson State because they wanted a black coach, it would be a powerhouse. Just like if every young black basketball player, let's say we pick a school, Howard. They're all going to go to Howard. They'd dominate college basketball.
Okay, they might dominate, but look at Michael Strahan. You look at what's the guy that played the guy played in Chicago, the running back.
Sayers?
Not Gale Sayers. It was it Gale Sayers? Went to an HBCU. Did he go to HBCU? Gale Sayers?
Oh, I don't recall.
Anyway,
Well, Jerry Rice went to
Jerry Rice went to all of these guys, and they never were top recruits coming out of college because they were playing for an HBCU. But they excel. You can look at that guy.
You're making my point for me, my friend.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. If all those top black players went to Jackson State, those pro recruiters would be there during spring training, trying to recruit them, get them for the pros.
Yeah, but
If
they're not going to give them the, they're not
and
going
he
to give them the
could-
type
and
of
he-
money they would give if they were at a D1 school.
Oh, now we're talking about money. I thought we were talking about is it good for the race?
We in America, we always
No,
talk about
no,
money.
No, well, all of a sudden it's money.
Hey.
Him making money.
You remember Johnny
him,
Manziel?
Him making money.
Johnny Manziel used to do that.
him making money is good for the race.
He's making money for himself. That's what's good for him.
Oh,
But
okay.
but
So,
the attention
tell-
that he's
tell-
getting, the attention that he's getting that's coming to him is, yes, good for the race, because there's somebody else who's looking at this and say, man, this guy was successful at Jackson State. He now goes to Colorado. He's successful there. It's going to be like that old Bear Bryant thing. We're going to have to get us a black coach.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Go to Caleb. Let Caleb go come after me now.
I'm
You
good.
come after me now. Now Caleb can, and then Sharon can, and then we'll be finished with hot topic.
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, like again, I'll wrap it up.
Uh-huh.
Is a country ready for a prime?
Okay.
And I'm going to say no, because for many whites who are in leadership roles, whether it's in sports or whatever, they don't want to give up that position to any black prime. And so some of the controversies that we're hearing from the white head coaches is because this black man is operating in sacred ground in terms of head coach.
Okay. All right. Let me close out by saying I'm pulling for Sanders. I hope he wins tonight. I hope he wins
good.
all his games. I hope he wins NCAA championship. But with that said, it's not doing a darn thing for black people. With that said, we'll close out.
Hey.
Every Black Voices telling our story, our way.
I hope y'all comment about this guy.